Hello, my name is Azure Gilmore, and this is my travel guide speech. Here is my audience. Okay. Hello, my name is Azure Gilmore. I'm 20 years old, and I have traveled around the U.S. quite a bit. However, I've never been out of the country, so I wanted to do my presentation on the Maldives. And you might be saying, where is the Maldives? Well, the Maldives is a small island nation in South Asia, and it's an island in the Indian Ocean. And so the Maldives actually consists of 1,190 coral islands and 27 atolls. So it's like a bunch of little islands that make up the Maldives. So it's super cool because the nation is mostly it's all surrounded by ocean, and it's beautiful and is a very tropical vacation to go on. So I wanted to talk about some things that you can do in the Maldives. So some activities that I'm going to be talking about are walking tours, snorkeling in the National Museum. There's so much more to do on the island. However, I just wanted to go over these main points. And however, if you do consider to be going to the Maldives, I do recommend exploring much more and doing much more things because it is such a beautiful island, and I think there's many more opportunities to have fun and adventure in the Maldives. So the first thing I want to talk about is walking tours. So there are many choices for walking tours in the Maldives, and some of these options are very short walking tours, and some of them are very long walking tours. So there's an option for every type of tourist. The walking tours take you through the capital of Mali in the Maldives, and a guide will take you. And the cool thing about the walking tours as well is there are guides in many languages. So if you speak English, if you speak French, if you speak any language there is, you can have an accessible guide that will take you around the island in the language that you can speak. And they kind of take you to the local side of the Maldives. So you're doing touristy things, but you're also kind of taking an inside look of what Maldives culture is actually like. And TripAdvisor has a lot of options for walking tours. So they have 2-hour walking tours, they have 6-hour walking tours, and everything in between. So if you have kids or if someone's injured on your in your group, you can take a shorter walking tour or a more accessible walking tour. So they just have a lot of options, and you'll do things like go to monuments and parks, and a guide will be taking you around and kind of telling you all the facts about the Maldives while you are on your walking tour. So I think this is a really good experience, especially if you're just wanting to learn more about the culture of the Maldives, and also just get out and do something different, because the Maldives is like a very beachy tropical vacation. So this is kind of like a different experience that you can have on your vacation. Next, I want to talk about snorkeling. So for snorkeling, they do have a lot of options for guided snorkeling tours. So you will have someone that can take you to the best spots to see all of the wildlife and coral reef that is in the Maldives. So again, there's so many options for these snorkeling excursions. Some you can go swimming with sharks, and some you can go just look for fish and turtles and look at the coral reefs as well. I personally would probably choose not to go look for sharks just because I'm not that adventurous, but if that suits you, there are so many options for that because they do have a lot of sharks that reside on the shore in certain areas of the island. However, if you're like me and you're just looking to go see fish and turtles, there are very many options for that as well. And with your guide, they can show you the best spots to go see as many fish, as much wildlife as you can, and try to get that full experience. But it's really cool, and I love snorkeling, so I think this would definitely be something that I would do on my vacation in the Maldives. Next, I want to talk about the National Museum. So they do have a National Museum in the Maldives. It's smaller, but it's still a really cool place to go, and it's in the capital of Mali again. And I know like museums are kind of like, some people think they're boring and some people like them. However, I would make a detour on your vacation to go to this national museum because it shows a lot of culture and historical artifacts about the island nation and everything, because a lot of people don't know about the history and the culture of the Maldives. So I think it would be really cool to go and experience this and see the artifacts and everything. And the MaldivesExpert.com, which I used a lot for my research in this presentation, they said that there is ancient stones and everything until antiques from the Buddhist era. So there's just a lot to see in this little museum, and I think it's really cool and something you should definitely consider going to see during your vacation. And also it's a way to get out of the sun if you have a sunburn, because again, it is a tropical vacation. You're going to be out in the sun a lot. So it's just a nice way to take a break and get into some air conditioning and just like cool off for a second, or take a break from the beach if you need it for a day. So how do we get to the Maldives? This is a big question because the Maldives is very, very far from the US, but that does not mean that you should skip out on this vacation, because there are ways to get there, and it would be totally worth it even though it's a lengthy travel. So budgetmaldives.com offers a lot of different ways to fly from the US. Some hubs are LA, New York, and Boston to get to the Maldives. And for us Texans, I think it would be easiest to fly from Houston to New York and then New York to the Maldives. So 2 legs of that trip. And so Expedia had a lot of options for travel from Texas to New York. All the major airlines fly there, like United, American, Spirit, Delta. Every airline you can think of has flights from from Texas to New York, many flights a day. And then after you would get to your hub, whether it's New York, Boston, LA, wherever it may be, you would have to go from your hub to the Maldives. And so for us, I would suggest going from Texas to New York to Maldives. So to get from New York to the Maldives, kayak.com actually gave me a list of airlines that fly from New York to the Maldives. This includes Qatar Airlines, Emirates, Turkish Airlines, American Airlines, and a few smaller companies as well. So many airlines are available for both legs of the trip. However, when you do get to the Maldives, you will need to make one final trip from the airport to your resort. So most of the time this includes taking a ferry or a seaplane or a speedboat to your final destination. A lot of resorts do include this in their fee though. So when you're paying for your resort, you will pay an extra fee to get a certain ferry to that resort or seaplane or speedboat. So it is a lengthy travel, and it does have a lot of different parts to it and a lot of legs, but I think it's definitely worth it to see the beauty of this island. And actually, you can stay in these bungalows that I would personally love to stay in. They're right on the water, they float over the water, and they're all connected to by a boardwalk that goes to the island. However, there are many different hotel and resort options on the island, so you do not have to stay in one of these, but I think it'd be really cool because you could just step outside and jump into the water. So in conclusion, the Maldives is a great place for people that are kind of just looking for a little adventure but love the beach and the sun. And I think the lengthy travel time is all well worth it because this island is just beautiful and it's a one-of-a-kind experience. So thank you. And here is my audience.